made a stupid mistake. I hit LeBlanc. But I know I'm wrong. I
Put
get
that
it.
on your resume. That's solid.
I got flamed on Instagram. It was so
Oh no.
jeez. But it's just, and people are like, oh, people in F1 Academy crash. I'm like, go watch any other F4 series.
Yes.
You're gonna
Yeah.
see it just as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's people like, it's just like,
Well,
go watch GB4. You'll see
Yeah.
literally you'll see the same thing.
Right.
Maybe worse because
Right.
the rules, like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
just like insane. Yeah, I think one thing I would say is to not let people like bring you down, especially at a young age. It tends to be tough because you don't quite understand yet why people are like that, but people are just haters.
Yeah.
They always will be. This is how people are. People hate to see, you win, whether you're a boy or a girl. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm Ava Dobson, and you're listening to the Turn 14 podcast.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Turn 14 podcast. This time around, it's a very special one for us. We have a special guest, Ava Dobson. She is the F1 Academy wildcard pick for the Miami Grand Prix. She's top 10 finish at Silverstone in her GP4 debut, and the only woman in the 2024 USF Championship. So let's welcome Ava.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have her on. Thank you
Yeah.
again, Ava, for
Yeah,
doing
thank
this.
you for having me.
We're excited.
And let's get into it. So
Yeah. This is something that you mentioned. You were like, let's just get Ava Dobson on. How sick would that be?
yeah.
And look at us, we have it. So Ava, we just to give you kind of little of a backstory on how we actually got to this point. This podcast is relatively new, and it's happening really, really fast for us. And there's a bar out in New York City. It's probably the largest F1 bar called Fela NYC. So we decided to go there, and we even decided to do like a little bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
And during that time, we came across so many F1 fans, so many motorsports fans. But what surprised us was the number of women that were involved and were interested and were like really engaged with motorsports and F1 in general. So much so that a lot of the women that we actually interviewed knew more about motorsports
Yeah.
than the male counterpart, which again was really inspiring for us and kind of got us to think about like we should really, really look into this and kind of get as much exposure into this. So this is how we ended up here with you. We connected with a few people, thankfully to Mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited. Also, we do recognize that since the wild card, I'm sure there's been a lot of people asking you to jump on calls like this and answer questions and things like this. So we do really appreciate your time and all the effort that you're going to be putting into this. But overall, we really are really excited to kind of have you here, ask you some questions, and kind of take it from there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. I mean, so let's just jump right into it.
Let's jump
right into it. Obviously, like I mentioned, you were chosen as the wild card. Can you maybe share a little bit about how that whole thing kind of happened and your experience with that?
Yeah, so we were offered it a couple months back, so probably early of this year. And usually they let you know, like we want you to do it and stuff. So, obviously, like, even being, like, thought of is, like, a really cool thing for me. I've never been on a big stage like that, especially with F1. So I've never raced with F1 before until Miami.
Yeah.
And so, we got offered a couple months back. Obviously, we said yes. And they just kind of came to us. Like, it was just...
That's cool.
You know what I mean? They
like
watch drivers for a long time, and they want you to do, like, certain amount of, like, testing.
Yeah. Was Susie just like, hey, Ava, like, she called you, ring you up, like, we need you on here? Or, like, what was it? I'm sure there was a lot of back and forth and, like, paperwork, but that's really cool.
It must have been tough to, like, keep that a secret. Did you have to, like, keep that a secret at all to, like, any of your friends or family? Well, I mean, your family, I would assume, no, but, like, any of your close friends, I'm sure you had to, like, keep it, like, low-key.
Yeah, you do have to keep it quiet until you get announced, just because of, like...
Sure.
I don't want to say, like, legal stuff, but it kind of is, because it's, the sponsor, and, like, people can't know, you know what I mean? So it is a secret that you have to hold from a while. I held it from a lot of my family members for a while, actually.
Oh.
I had to add the suspense in the family group chat. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
love that. That's good. That must have been hard though. This is like
it
like,
was.
wanna,
I like wanted to tell them, but I was like, I can't do it yet.
That's cool though.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a good surprise.
It is a cool surprise. Yeah, and like with all that happening, so were you in your current series while this was happening, or was this in a prior series that you were doing like in the States? Because I know that you're in Europe right now and you're traveling out that way currently, but like were you just like racing in a prior series? Like were you just kind of like in practice testing kind of thing, or like how was that whole situation like?
Yeah, I was testing in Europe because I knew I was going to race GB4 the next year
Cool.
in like late like December kind of time, November through December. And I think a couple teams have like said stuff, you know, they were like, "Oh, you know, like we're doing good, like the testing's been going well." And then, you know, the opportunity came up. So, you know what I mean? So you just got to take it when you get it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Did you have to do anything different once you found out? Like, what'd you do to prepare yourself for that, knowing, you know, months in advance that it's coming up in Miami?
Yeah, obviously you would go to the like where the team, like where the wildcard team is. So this, for instance, it would be High Tech.
Okay.
High Tech is based at Silverstone, so that was really easy for me to go there and do that. You do like sim stuff. You have to go get a seat fit.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's so cool.
But otherwise, you can't. It's so difficult, especially with the wildcard entry, to like do something like to make the
Right.
weekend go 10 times better if you don't have like the 3-day practice before.
Right.
Because some of them get lucky and they get to do the test before. Like, for instance, I didn't. In Miami, we didn't. And I'm sure there's other tracks like Vegas, you can't. Canada, you can't. So,
Right.
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
I actually have a question about the testing because we're obviously following F1 and we hear about all of the drivers doing sim testing prior to like races. Like how accurate is sim racing compared to like being actually in seat? Like how big of a difference is it, or do you feel like the sim is so like high tech that it's pretty close?
Yeah, I think it's a really good tool that we have, especially like now.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like back then, they didn't have the sim and they didn't have all this extra stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't really like a thing. I think these last like couple like years, it's just become really popular just because it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Because it does stimulate like, you know, the track and like the car and stuff. Like my sim I have at home is like not the best, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
So I usually just when I think of sim, I think of just learning the track.
Fair.
And maybe learning like a good reference,
Cool.
a decent like baseline. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Sure.
Obviously, if you go to like F1 teams and stuff, they have like their really high end sims,
Yeah.
which are really nice.
Yeah.
So just depends
One
what
day.
you got.
Well, listen, just call Susie and be like, "Hey, Susie, hook me up with like a nice little sim in my basement, and we're golden."
I know,
And
yeah.
I'll be in F1 Academy next year. See you there. Easy.
Yeah.
That would be
Exactly.
nice.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
It's so talking about like sims real quick. I just wanted to know like, but any chance like in the sim rig that you're using, I don't know what kind of software you're using at all, but was there any opportunity for you to sim like the Miami racetrack at all? Where you at least like kind of get familiar with it? Because I understand like you've probably never raced it before. It's a new track, new layout. I'm not sure if you had that opportunity, or when you got in wildcard pick, jumping in, you kind of had that 1-2 practice sessions to kind of like figure it all out.
Yeah. On my sim at home, I wasn't home at the time because I was living in the UK. I wasn't living, but I was staying there for a long period of time, so I didn't really get to do it before. But I went and tested at Miami in November, I think it was, with my other team, VRD, in the USF 2000 car. But it was like partial track because they don't let you test the GP. So it was like the first sector was the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that was kind of it, but
yeah.
That's
Oh,
actually
time.
wild.
At least you got the first
Yeah.
sector, kind of. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the rest was just all like in the seat. Let me just
Figure
get
it out.
used to this now. Figure it out.
yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly.
That's That's wild.
That is wild.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Well, let's maybe jump into some kind of questions, kind of particularly like centered around like I guess how this all happened for you. One of the questions that we have was, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be a race car driver?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I started go-karting when I was 7, and I kind of did it at first because my dad wanted me to do it. But I think my dad recognized that I had, some sort of talent or skill in it when I was younger. It's because he told me, he was like, I would never pay for you if I didn't think you could do it. So, okay, fair
That
enough.
sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds like a dad thing
I
to
mean,
say.
Yeah, he told
Good
me that
dad.
when I was like 8. I was like, okay. Yeah, typical dad.
Yeah.
But I think when I started like winning when I was younger, like in like the micro series we have here in the States,
Yeah.
I think I really like I started to love it a lot, and I started to realize what it takes to be good and like all that stuff. And obviously like that just keeps growing as you keep continuing up, and you have certain goals you want to reach someday.
Yeah.
But
Love that.
That's awesome. Was your dad a race car driver at all? Was he like doing karting when he was younger at all, or?
yeah.
Um,
He raced like cup cars, like
Cool.
oval stuff.
yeah.
Asphalt racing, not dirt racing. He
Yeah.
did not want to do dirt
Interesting.
racing, but he did it for fun with his uncles, which I thought was kind of cool because like it's kind of like a generational thing, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Cool. So I mean, maybe we can go on to another race. Matthew, you want to ask maybe maybe B from the past?
Yeah. So you finished top 10 at Silverstone, and I guess we just want to know kind of how it felt for you on driving on such a historic track. What are your thoughts about it? I mean, you said you stayed in the UK for a bit. I don't know if you've gotten more time to drive on there too, or
yeah, I had a race week in there in March.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
wait. Yeah, end of March. Wait, I can't remember. No, end of
So
April.
sick, though.
End of April.
That's
Yeah.
still sick. That's
That's awesome.
like
And we
so. Was it
test there.
was it same layout or did they change?
Yeah.
Same exact.
Just the
format?
GP, yeah.
That's
oh
awesome.
wow.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
I'd
Well, I
love
guess
to go there.
well, I'm going to sprinkle a fan question in there, specifically my question. So you've driven Silverstone. I guess what's your current favorite track, and what's your dream track to race?
I would probably say my favorite track right now would probably be Silverstone.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of my dream tracks would probably be Spa.
Oh, I had a feeling you were gonna say
Wow,
that.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Spa's such an icon.
Yeah.
That's like, it's.
I know.
That's a dangerous.
Ever since I was younger, I
exciting-
always wanted to race that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Oh,
Who knows?
wow.
Maybe one day.
One
Maybe
day.
one day that'll be
Maybe,
good.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. Mark specifically wore this Silverstone shirt because you were able
Hold
to
on.
drive Silverstone. So you had to.
Yeah.
Silverstone on the back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's from Lewis Hamilton's plus 44 line. Like. He does
Okay,
this thing.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's actually really sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
Spa.
that's cool.
I love that, honestly. So Silverstone Spa, that's cool. Let's see. So I have a question here. Just being the only woman in the 2024 USF Championship Series, what was that experience like? How did it prepare you for GB4 and the F1 Academy?
Yeah. Well, originally I was supposed to race the entire year in USF. Obviously, that did not happen. I only got to race really a race.
Yeah.
It was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like last year was a really tough year for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this without being mean. It just that
It's
just
fine.
like I think I was in the wrong place, and it's okay. There's no like beef or anything. It's just like wasn't right for me, and the whole crash happened, and it just put me down
Yeah.
into this whole like spiral, and I didn't get back out until end of June in
Yeah.
USF 2000
Wow.
Yeah.
just for a test with VRD. And Dan had given me the opportunity to go race GB4, and I was kind of like, dude, like I haven't raced in like 3 months. Like I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. Like, you know, we did a lot of testing in USF Junior, and I think the year could have gone a lot better.
Yeah.
If certain circumstances, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? I mean, you
Right.
kind of
I look back and I
this.
think it's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
Exactly.
I was just about to say.
You have to
sometimes-
learn. Sometimes you have to fall and bust your ass to kind of understand like what's ahead of you, and I think it's
exactly.
pretty awesome for you to kind of
Yeah.
overcome this and look at where you are now. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise almost, you know.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah, sometimes like those things happen, or just it's kind of like the universe just like challenging you, right? Like you're going through something so like dramatic, you know, and like, you know, I understand going through like, I can't imagine going through like that and your mindset and all, but it shows how much mental strength it takes to recover from something like that, and also like just bounce back, right? And just like get back into the racing and just moving forward. So I admire that. I think that's really cool. You know, I think we should definitely like, you should be proud of that. And I think more people should like hear about that. You know, it's an insane situation. It's a great story, and it's like such a like full circle, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go for another one. Matt, do you have another one from the past that you want to ask?
No, I'm more just curious about the F1 Academy stuff and your experience there.
Yes.
Just
let's get into the meat and potatoes of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we have, but yeah, I'm just curious kind of, I mean, you did the wild card race this year. What was that like? Who'd you meet? How was Miami? Like just overall, like I don't know. I just want to hear about it. It just sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And when we were there,
I can run you through the weekend if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Okay, so obviously the announcement happened on Monday. I was already there in Miami because I'd come back from the UK. I just came back from another race weekend, from Silverstone race weekend.
Wow.
Nice.
I was fine with jet lag and stuff. Actually, I'm surprised. But Thursday we had media day, so you know we did all like the pictures with the Morgan Stanley stuff, which was really cool. I got to meet, you know, the Morgan Stanley people. I already met High Tech, obviously from previously. So that was Thursday. Friday we had 2 practices. I didn't get to do the first practice session due to a fire extinguisher, and they won't let you back on a track without it because it's like a safety hazard, basically, because if your car goes on fire and there's no fire extinguisher, like, you know what I mean? They're liable.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, do you quickly like it had to be in the car, or is it like near like?
It's in the car. It's in the engine.
Oh.
It just it's all connected in a certain part of the engine. It's really small. It's like a really small piece. Sometimes it goes off when it gets bad. Because we don't ever use it. You know what I mean? It's there in case we ever need it. But it happens. It happened to me in USF. It's like the stupidest thing. It sucks.
Yeah, that's a pain.
Yeah,
I
what
know.
is
I
this?
was
A
like,
smoke?
okay.
That's just
For
a
that,
fire
but-
extinguisher going off.
Yeah. So obviously I was disappointed. Practice 2, is just I'm learning the track. I'm learning the car.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing about being a wildcard driver, especially when you don't get the practice. You don't know the car. The car was really different to anything I've ever really driven.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to adapt, and obviously that can be challenging. So, you know, we're all working hard to do it.
Yeah.
And the car wasn't there mechanically. And so, you know, I'm obviously trying to help them out as much as I can. You know, it's all big.
Sure.
It's a big team.
Like
You know
back
what I
and
mean? We
forth,
all got to
for
work
sure.
together.
Yeah.
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 Obviously, I made a stupid mistake. I hit Leo Block. Which, I know, I'm wrong. I
Put
get
that on your
it.
resume. That's
I got
solid.
flamed on Instagram. It was so
Oh no.
jeez.
Oh no!
It was like we all hit each other at one point.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so funny.
to see those people in the car.
I just finished.
Yeah, I know.
watching the Canadian
Yeah.
F1 Academy race, and there's a lot of wheel to wheel bumping elbows going
Yeah.
at it. Like honestly, it was pretty impressive the
Yeah.
amount of fighting that
Yeah,
was happening.
racing's
But,
tight in
Yeah.
F1 Academy for sure.
yeah.
But it's just, and people are like, oh, people in F1 Academy crash. I'm like, go watch any other F4 series.
Yes.
You're going to
Yeah.
see it just as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's people, like, it's just like, dude,
Well, you
go watch,
mentioned-
go watch GB4. You'll see
Yeah.
literally you'll see the same thing.
Right.
Maybe worse because
Right.
the rules, like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just, like, insane.
Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned that the car was it was different. What about it
Yeah.
specifically was different compared to what you're normally driving?
So obviously I've been driving the GB4 car for before anything I did that. The braking is a lot harder. So in GB4, maybe maximum pressure would be 50 bar, which
Okay.
is like light
Yeah.
light work, like hardly, because the brakes are so much shorter, so they stop quicker.
Oh,
The
interesting.
the brakes are a lot longer in the F1 Academy car, so I was pushing like 120 bar in the last corner.
Jeez.
So that's like
Yeah.
a lot,
All
you know
your
what I
weight,
mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like how much bar I was hitting in GT4 when I was practicing. Maybe more in GT4, but it's pretty, it's a long braking
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
system.
big deal.
And the cars are slower than the GB4 car for me, at least. It felt slower, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you're not used
The
to it, I'm
handling
sure.
was a little different. The arrow is different. There's like hardly any arrow on the car.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
They're F4 cars, right?
Yeah.
They're all stock, same arrow and everything, like same engine output and all, or is there like slight differences?
I'm not
between-
quite sure I forgot what engine F1 Academy uses, but the arrow is different to our GB4 car at least, or any other F4 series. They're a little different. It's not like majorly different, but you'd be surprised how much the arrow really changes on an F4 car,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even though it's just like a little car that doesn't go that fast.
Yeah.
But
Make them
you
faster
have
so
to
you
adapt to
make
that
them
stuff, especially after racing a whole
Yeah.
different series for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean,
Interesting.
give yourself some credit. You jumped in last minute, not last minute. Like you had no prior practice,
Yeah.
no testing of this particular car,
Yeah.
and you coming in there and I heard you you qualified actually higher up, but due to the incident with Leia, like you got a penalty, you got a 3-place grid penalty, so you started pretty far back on the grid.
Yeah.
But so like talk a little like about that. Like after hitting like Leia, did you guys talk after? Like how was that whole interaction
Yeah.
with her afterwards?
I don't think she was
Sorry.
too thrilled with me, to be honest.
Oh man.
I went and apologized because I always want to apologize. You know what I mean? Whether it's your fault or not.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was not too happy with me, which understandably I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously we went into the stewards, which I've never been in the stewards after practice.
Oh, interesting.
People usually kill each other in practice and nothing happens, so I don't know. It must be an FIA thing. We all got speeding penalties in the pits.
Oh, solid.
Yeah, I got a hefty fine for that.
Oh,
Love
fun.
that.
Fine.
No way.
We're all,
Really?
yeah, they fine you.
They-
FIA is pretty strict, which they have to be. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Hold on. So they invited you to come and race, and then they're
No
going to fine
practice.
you for racing or driving fast. All right. Okay,
Well, in
FIA.
the pit lane, I
Yeah.
guess, but like you know, it's
Okay,
Yeah,
FIA.
I know.
We've had a
We
lot
can
of
go on a
opinions
whole
about the
nother
FIA.
conversation. Yeah. The whole thing.
So, but interesting.
Yeah, that was a tough one. 3-place penalty. I was like, oh my gosh.
I still think it's
Well, in
sick.
qualifying, it sucked because it was about to rain, and we were all debating whether, like, what do we do? So we were just like, okay, slicks, go get a good lap in. And we thought qualifying was going to be fine. We go out for our out lap. Okay, I'm like, good, I'm feeling good. Car's feeling good. I'm on my next flying lap, which is already, like, a second faster in Sector 1. I wasn't really that far off in practice. So it was probably like a second or like half a second faster in Sector 1. So I was like, okay, I want to go lap. I go into the back, turn 11, like back straight. It is pouring rain and people are spinning out. And I'm
Oh,
just
man.
like, I hate my life right now.
Oh no.
So I had to slow down. We went and go put rains on. We had good pace in the rain, considering that I haven't had much rain practice at all in my life, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being an American driver, you don't really get much here.
Right.
Yeah.
So I only got that one little lap in qualifying, which was my flying lap
Yeah.
on the rain.
Yeah.
So I got really unlucky with that. It was just a really unlucky weekend. I don't know what's been going on with me,
Yeah.
but it just was not there for me that weekend.
Yeah.
And then in race 1, I had a little mechanical problem, so I wasn't able to pass.
Hmm.
So I was just kind of stuck, even though I was
yeah.
quicker than people in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of got stuck and I couldn't really do anything. So I just I'm just going to finish the race. I'm not going to send it. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
You know
And race
what?
2 got
Like,
canceled.
Right.
So
yeah,
That's
I know
right.
because
That's
it's like what
unfortunate.
2 races in a weekend. You guys do like 2 races, right? And
yeah.
I feel like I'm sure you were like eager to like go back out there and just like
I know.
let
Well, we
me
went
like
out
show
for
it.
race 2. We had made some
Yeah,
mechanical changes to the car,
yeah,
and obviously the issue was fixed. And I was on the out lap, and they were like, "Feel it out on the out lap." I was like, "Okay, I got you." The car literally felt so fast. I was like, I am so disappointed. Race 2 got canceled. Like, I
yeah.
swear,
You were like
we would have
ready.
been up. Like, we would have been moving. I
Let's
swear.
go.
Yeah.
I love to
Yeah.
hear
I
that.
love. That's
Oh,
what I
man.
was
I know. They
saying.
were like, "Okay, well, that's a positive."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Susie,
hear that,
then
Susie
listen, come
Wolf?
to the office. Do you want
Bring
to
her
start
back.
tomorrow or?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. I wish. Because now they get three. They get 3 races this weekend. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I actually saw that the first one was wild.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. I feel like you should have been flown out there too, just to make up for the second
Yeah.
race you missed out on.
Yeah.
Like you should have been.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Go to Canada, not far
I
from the
wish.
States.
Yeah. Yeah. Not far.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
let's move on to another question. I think this is a little bit more probably something that we really want to kind of hone in on is how do you view the rise of women in motorsports and the role of F1 Academy in shaping the future? Like, what are your thoughts on that in general?
Yeah.
And how that what that's doing for all women.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really good thing. They rebranded, F1 Academy or W Series F1 Academy.
Yeah.
And I think the way that they did it this time, like for F1 Academy, is really, really good because if you even go look at like statistics of like how many more women young girls are joining like karting because they want to be in F1 Academy, and obviously we don't want F1 Academy to be the last goal.
Sure.
For
Right.
them, we want to push everyone to go, as far as they can in F1 or in WEC or IndyCar, whatever they want
Yeah.
to do, you know what I mean? So it's just to push more women out into the professional levels. But they have a really good amount of girls doing F1 Academy. Like this year they had 18 cars, 3 cars on every team. So I think it's just
Okay.
been a really, really good thing, because you're introducing all these young girls. They see, because especially, and people hate to say this, but like when you're younger and you look up to someone, like you want to look up to someone that's just like you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So,
100%.
obviously, like when Susie was younger, she probably didn't see many people like her because there's no women in F1 or in F2 or F3.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's tough, and I feel like as like the younger generation, they like to look up to people. I like to look up to people all the time. Like when
course.
I was younger, I looked up to Catherine Ledge.
Yeah,
Nice.
Okay.
So I thought she was really cool. Danica Patrick, I thought she was cool at the time, but that's a
Yeah.
different story. Like you know what I mean? It's good to have a role model, and I think all of F1 Academy, current drivers and even wildcard drivers are good,
yeah.
role model for younger people.
Well
I just
said.
think it's just a really good cause, you know what I mean? And to keep pushing out, and especially the media that we get. I can't even tell you how overstimulated I was.
Yeah.
The media presence is really good, and that's really helpful when you're trying to get sponsors because they want to see you have a good following, all that stuff. They want
Right.
to see that your engagement's good.
Yeah.
So, it also comes into that side a little bit and to keep moving forward. Like, Bianca Bustamante is a great representation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She grew her community really, really big, and everyone likes her. You know what I mean? And, that's why she got to race in GB3 this year, because she was able to put all the money together, and she, did it all through just social media. She does a good job at it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
This
it's
is
all
the
important.
this is the world we live in now. You have an opportunity now, like you mentioned, like for instance, Susie didn't have an opportunity to maybe see people on the television or things like that. But with social media now and things like podcasts and stuff like that, you have an opportunity to have a reach unlike anything in the past before, and you're taking advantage of it. And I think all drivers should.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're kind of headed in the right direction, and whether you know it or not, you're inspiring women, younger people, all of that stuff. So it's I think it's fantastic. So well said.
yeah.
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 I wanted to. Yeah, Matthew. I don't know if you wanted
No,
to
go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
chime in or say anything. No, I agree everything you were saying, and I think like, do you feel like Susie was a huge part in the change? Like, I believe, yes, I remember when it was called W Series. I don't know if she was involved at that time, but I have a
I
feeling,
forgot if she was. I
yeah.
can't remember. It was long
But
ago.
like, but now it's like Susie got everybody to, McLaren, Ferrari, you have Mercedes and, Red Bull all contributing money towards the F1 Academy. And then they're also like on the same calendar, somewhat following
Yeah.
of the F1 grid and in that schedule. So I think you feel like I think she played a huge part in it. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, with her. And
Yeah.
and also, like, did you get to meet her at all? Because, like, I am, like,
Yeah.
I like Susie a lot, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
she's
yeah.
I think she's a total badass, to be completely honest. So I thought, like,
Yeah.
did you have an opportunity to meet her? And, like, also, like, how was that experience?
Yeah. No, I did get to meet her. She's really nice, actually. Really good to talk to.
Cool.
And, we all look up to her. Like, she's like our boss, you know what I mean? She's like the F1 Academy, like, boss, we all love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was really great, really friendly, honestly. Like,
Love that.
everyone's so intimidated by her because she's, she's so powerful, but I thought she was really great to be around. And
Awesome.
honestly, I think she is a huge, huge reason to why she is the reason we get to do this, you know what I mean? Get to race in F1 Academy, race with F1. She really worked super hard to put the series together, and not even that, to get all the F1 teams on board. And, it's such a great opportunity that, as girls, we get to be with an F1 team or they're helping us, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's such a cool opportunity to be given and, to race on the F1 tracks and stuff. Because, when we keep moving up, not in just GB3, because GB3 is a little different, but like in F3 and F2, you know what I mean? They all race with F1, so it's good to like start that development of knowing those tracks that you might go on later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Love that.
but I think she did really a super good job at it, and I'm really grateful that we all get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah. Well, small flex. Susie did see one of our stories. She
Yeah.
didn't like it. She didn't comment.
yeah,
But she saw one of our stories. So that's the biggest flex we have right now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a win for us.
That's a
It
big
really
one.
is.
it is.
It is.
All right. Maybe we can do one more of the present, and then maybe we can move on to
Yeah.
future, and then maybe some fan
Yeah,
questions.
I have a question, and I think a lot of people are also just curious in general, kind of your, like, maybe your routine or something people don't usually see behind the scenes when you're preparing for races and when you're trying to go and I guess just go through the race weekend, right? I'm just curious kind of what that's like for you.
Like before.
Yeah, like, I know nothing about
Okay.
what's involved behind the scenes of a race weekend.
Yeah, like a routine, like getting prepped, all that.
Yeah, so when I'm home, this is my dad's place I'm in right now. Has my sim here. When I'm home, I spend 5 or 6 days out of the week going on my sim for like hours on end, not hours on end, but like hours throughout the day. Working out at the gym down the road 5 days a week or 4 days a week if I need it. Obviously, when you're with the team, we go and do like preparation on the sim and stuff, and any testing they may want you to do. So, it all adds up really quick, and you'd be surprised how much it takes up in your schedule.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like
So,
it.
yeah, it takes up a lot of time. But
What are you
it's worth it.
doing on the sim? Like, what are you racing with? Is it like iRacing sort of stuff, or
At my house here, I have iRacing and
Okay.
Assetto Corsa.
nice?
Because Assetto Corsa is nice because you can download any of the tracks that you want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are
So,
like the
but sometimes
top.
it doesn't work for me. I
Yeah.
figured out.
Yeah.
But I'll just test if they have the track on iRacing. I'll just test it here, or I'll like race on it, or they have like the AI races are kind of nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You don't ever see Max on there for Verstappen?
No,
No.
I don't do so many local or hosted races because
Yeah.
my dad killed my iRating.
Oh, Dad, come on.
I know, And then I didn't help the situation because like people kept crashing me. I was like, oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh goodness, that sounds like online.
I gotta
That's
fix it.
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wait, what happened?
She has to
You
fix
said
it.
you got. Oh, she has. Oh, okay.
yeah,
I have to, yeah, I gotta work on that.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. F1. I play the F1 game and like it's chaos when you play online. Like people don't care. They
Yeah.
send it from the back of the grid all the way to the front. And it's just like
It's a whole other game.
that's a whole other situation. But
Yeah,
I
it's a Class C iRacing race for you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not very fun.
No.
So wait, one other like prep thing. Okay, so I guess walk through your routine, your race routine. Like you're about to jump into the car. Is there any songs? Is there anything that you do right before you get into the vehicle? Is that like how's that whole situation for you?
Yeah, I think like obviously I do like my little like stretch. I like to stretch a little bit before I
Yeah.
go in. Sometimes I listen to music, but usually I don't. I like to be in a really clear headspace.
Love that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I like to be really calm when I drive. That's when I drive the best. And, you know, just be like calm and collected. You know, I'm fine. It's just another race.
Yeah.
Just go for it. You know what I mean? Know what you're doing. Be aware.
That's awesome.
Whether you believe in it or not, I pray. I pray before I go in.
Oh, for
Love
sure.
You know, I just have that, you know, I'm religious, so, you know, I have that connection, you know,
Yeah.
with God. So I feel that helps me, you know, be more of a calm mindset when I'm in the car. But sometimes I need to get really hyped if I'm a little tired. But
Yeah.
most of the time I'm calm.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
that's
that's awesome.
great. It's
Yeah.
always cool to see everybody has their own routine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some people like Daniel Ricciardo's constantly listening to music, getting pumped, you know, and Lewis Hamilton, same. He's probably like listening to some music too. See him with his headphones on sometimes. But the one driver that I know that's super like known for that is like Danny Rick. Like he's always like
Yeah.
listening to something before jumping in to the car. But I love that it's like the complete opposite. Your routine.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I wanna be
I know,
clear
it's kind of
head.
weird, but
no,
I think everyone
It
has their own
works.
thing. The best athletes in the world all have their own, like, you know, whatever they do. I mean, you watch baseball, Aaron Judge crossing home plate, he always just does a quick cross up into the sky. So, I mean, it's actually pretty common, and I love it. I think whatever works for you, and obviously it's working. So,
Yeah.
so keep
Yeah.
doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I actually have a good question here before we move on to future. This is a really good question. Any memorable stories from fans who've reached out to you about your impact in motorsports? Any fun things that you can share with us?
maybe one from last year. I was at, God, where was I at? St. Pete. It was at St. Pete, and I wasn't racing. I was just there to like be there with the team and stuff I was with at the time. Someone had come up to me, and I think he worked for USF. I don't know. I forgot his name. Sorry if you're watching this. But he came up to me and he told me that his daughter had asked, or maybe it was at NOLA. It was either at NOLA or St. Pete. I can't remember. His daughter had asked him if I race, because I was wearing like my nice like team wear and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess she asked her dad, "Oh, does she race?" And he's like, "Yeah, she does." And she was like, "I want to be like her. I want to race."
Oh, that's.
And I was like, "That's so cute." You know
That's
what I mean?
Yes.
I know. I was like, I've never had someone want to be like me before.
Yeah, you just said it earlier. Someone needs
So, you know.
somebody to look up to. So, I mean, why not you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, put her in the go-kart.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. You know?
That's really cool. That's really cool.
That's really
Yeah, so that's a nice one that I like.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear
Any memorable like any cool experiences with the F1 Academy grid? I feel like I always say this to Ben, I say this to Matthew. One of the biggest things that I regret not doing when I went to the Miami Grand Prix, we went last year, not this year, was visiting the F1 Academy open grid or like pit, like paddock, I guess you could call it.
The
Where they
paddock,
allowed
yeah.
where they allowed like the fans to
Yeah.
go in, like
Yeah.
I'm sure that was quite the experience for you. And like, was there anything that like, how was that whole experience? Seeing so many fans there, like, were people just like taking pictures with you, not knowing who you were, or like asking for like autographs? Like, how was that whole like experience like?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of people there. Um, which for me, I've never, been around something like that, and I was just kind of like, whoa, like what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, you know what I mean? Like people like ask for your autograph, they want pictures. I think I did a couple of like videos with some people. But
Sick.
that's really cool. You have to interact with the fans because they're the
Sure.
reason, we all get to race.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all entertainers at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we love what we do, we want to make it, but at the end of the day, we have to realize the fans are, we get to do this because of how much, people love to watch motorsport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had to learn how to manage my time, and it sucks because you have to be selfish because you have to balance it. I'm definitely a person who I don't want to. This might sound a little dramatic, but like when there's so many people in like one spot, especially like in like the races, like before race one,
Mm-hmm.
because like everyone has to go to the bathroom before, a little nervous pee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're all going to the bathroom. I'm
It's okay.
following
Everyone's in the
Maya
bathroom right
away to the
before this
bathroom.
interview.
I'm
It's
like,
fine.
oh my god, there's like 1,000 people here, and they're all like bombarding you, and I'm like, oh my god, like get me out of here. I feel like I'm in hell right now. Like
Yeah.
it's just like there's so many people like screaming. They want you. You know what I mean? They want you to
Yeah.
sign,
Yeah, it
which
becomes
is like
overwhelming.
great, and I
Yeah.
love them. I love all the fans. But I was just like, oh my gosh, there's
Word.
so many people here right now.
It's a
I
different
feel like
kind
I'm like a Kardashian. Like, what's going on? Like they
That's
want
it.
pictures, they want you to sign stuff. I'm just like, oh my god.
It's like,
Keeping
I
up
just
with-
gotta use the
I
I was
restroom.
like, come back later, come back later.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It's driving me nuts. I
I
love you
bet.
guys, but-
I mean, that's a whole.
Oh my gosh.
That's a whole thing. That's a whole part. I mean, that's part of one of the questions that we asked was like,
Yeah.
what happens behind the scenes that people don't typically get to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just trying to be.
That's
present
definitely
for all
one
of
of
it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a whole different type of experience. It's like
Yeah.
I'm sure you've never experienced anything like that, and just like for all of it to come at you all at once, I'm
Yeah.
sure was
Yeah.
like, it's a natural reaction you're gonna have of just
Yeah.
being like, what's going on? Like,
I know. I'm just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I felt bad because I had to walk away. I'm like, okay, guys, like I gotta go.
That's
Well,
But
listen. I want to make sure
Gotta
we
learn how to
have.
balance.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
I want to
Yeah.
make sure we have
About
some time
balance in
for fan questions. We have about 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure we can
Yeah.
get through these because
For sure.
you have a lot of people who love you, who want to know more about you, and
Yeah.
there's some questions that wanted to be and asked.
Yeah.
So maybe we can start with that. Or we can
Yeah,
kind of
let's
run through it.
just
Matthew,
jump
you have
right
the
into it.
doc and everything, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So first question from Crystal. I think one of the cool questions was, do you have a good luck charm?
I have. It's a Greek thing that we do. Because I'm Greek Orthodox. My aunt and my mom, they both buy me like this little thing. It's from Greece, and I think it's like you buy it from like a church or something.
Sure.
It has like a little cross on it, and I always put it on the inside of my suit.
Oh, love
That's
that.
awesome.
I have that. That's always there with me. That's kind of it though. I don't
Okay.
really have much.
Oh, that's good. These are probably going to be rapid fire questions anyway. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
works. That works.
Yeah.
Some simple for most part.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
No, that's
All
cool.
right, go for it, Matthew.
Yeah, I have one from a Cookie here. She's asked like, what's been your biggest challenge breaking into such a male-dominated sport? I know that's obviously been a big topic what we're talking about today, but yeah, I'm curious from your side.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, it used to bother me much more than it did now because now I really don't care
Nice.
what people
Love
think
that.
of me.
Nice.
I'm just like, whatever, bro. Like,
Yeah, good way to think. Yeah.
but like, when you first get into it, you're kind of like, you get all this, like, you kind of get like these snarky comments. Like, people are like, oh, like, you're a girl, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or like, they tell
Yeah.
the kids, they're like, don't get beat by the girl because she sucks. And I'm like, actually, you suck, and so does your attitude.
Dang.
And that's why I beat you.
I love
Love
that.
Like, like, you know
Let's
what I mean?
go.
Like,
And then
Oh my
you
God.
wind up beating them anyways. So
Exactly.
yeah, like this happened in go-karting all the time. I was like, you guys are both idiots. Like,
Oh, look at them now.
Just
Look
deal
at them
with it.
watching this.
it's not
That's
anything
it.
complex.
No,
you know
that's
what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, now they see you on the big screen.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Okay.
I love that. That
Great
was
response.
just-
Yeah, that was.
that was a great
perfect.
response. I need
Thank
Azalea to
you.
watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I have one from Rachel. What female drivers inspire you?
I would definitely say, obviously, I said Catherine Ledge.
Yeah.
Jamie Chadwick. of course. I looked up to her a lot when I was racing USF. Of course, I still do. But she was like my big role model last year. I really just wanted to be like her, especially when she won Road America. I was there when she won. I was like, oh, this is so
That's
cool.
it.
Yeah. Of course, Susie, I've grown up hearing about her all the time. She got to test in F1
Yeah.
at Silverstone,
Yeah.
with the drivers, and that was really cool. Um, Not many when I was growing up, I feel like,
Okay.
because I didn't watch like open wheel when I was growing up. I watched a lot of NASCAR when I was growing up, because that's actually what I was gonna do. I was gonna race NASCAR.
Oh,
Or
interesting.
like go
Nice.
towards a NASCAR route, but I
Okay.
ended up, I got opportunity, to do open wheel, so
Oh yeah.
it all
Sick.
changed.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Sweet.
Matthew, if you want to take it from there, you can.
We have one from Olivia here. She's asking what passion outside of racing would you say you have? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I have quite a few. I like to work out a lot. I took a lot of pride in that. And that's something that I used to cope with last year. Just by like, working out all the time made me feel better about myself. But outside of that, I used to do track and field, which I was like okay at it. But if we're talking more like school wise, I like science a lot. I put a lot of
Okay.
passion in science.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Love
that's
that.
cool.
Let's see. You want to
Yeah.
ask one of the next questions?
Yeah. So, let's see. So, a good friend of ours, Nick, actually asked a couple of questions, but I think the one that stands out the most to me is for all the little girls out there cheering you on, what's one thing you would tell them?
Yeah, I think one thing I would say is to not let people like bring you down, especially at a young age. It tends to be tough because you don't quite understand yet why people are like that, but people are just haters.
Yeah.
They always will be. This is how people are. People hate to see, you win, whether you're a boy or a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They hate to see you do good. They don't want you to do well. And those are fake people. Those people you don't want in your life, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to like understand why people are the way they are at a young age. It was really hard for me to understand it, but I had really good support system. My dad always told me like the same stuff,
Right.
They don't know it. You need to beat them. They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I have another one here, and this one is from my daughter Azalea. She asks, "What's your favorite food?"
My favorite food. I have quite a few. I can't choose.
Yeah.
I think I really like sushi.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
God! Really?
Does
That's
Azalea?
Azalea's like favorite food. She
Wow.
loves
Really?
eating sushi.
That's awesome.
Wow! I can't wait to show her this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
That's
Oh.
it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pick Italian, but no.
Nope.
Well, so Nick, I have another one from Nick. How has F1 Academy changed your view on being a race car driver?
I think it just, I don't know. I wouldn't say it changed me much. I think it showed me, all the great things about it. I've never been able to experience that in my life.
Yeah.
But I definitely say it pushed me, like what's there, you know what I mean? And obviously, we're pushing really hard to be there next year. I'm doing all my best that I can.
We're rooting for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna
Absolutely.
ask.
Yeah,
if that's,
thank you.
that's where you think you're trying to go from here on out. Just keep
Yeah, it's
pushing
the
that
next step.
direction.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere we would like to go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I feel like you will make it. to
I
F1
hope so.
Academy.
Yeah.
I hope so too. We'll love to see you racing in Miami.
Yeah, we'll
next
go to
year.
Miami next year for sure and cheer you on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just speak it to existence right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna
exactly.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. What can people and your fans do now to support Ava Dobson? What is it?
Yeah.
What would you ask from them?
I would say to just always, support online and stuff. We're trying to build a good like community. Obviously that takes time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time and effort and stuff. But, I would just say maybe like always follow along, what I'm doing. Obviously being in the UK, it's tough for my American fans because it's so far away. But I have family that wake up at 4 in the morning to watch me race. I'm like,
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
are
Yeah.
insane. Like,
Wow.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
what family does. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I know, they're the best. I have
That's
the best
great.
people. in
Where
my
can
life.
people actually watch you race? Like, are
On
any of the races
YouTube.
on YouTube?
Okay.
They stream them.
Yeah,
Cool.
Nice.
they stream it, yeah.
Yeah.
GB4.
Yeah. Make sure to follow Ava at Ava Dobson Racing.
Yeah.
I think that's across all of your social media channels.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean, if we want to wrap up with some final thoughts about this whole situation, but I think this has been so great. We thank you for
Yeah.
being a part of this. Again, you are our first ever guest on the Turn
Yeah.
14 podcast.
Yeah.
We're a very small podcast, but we're trying our best
Thank
to
you.
kind
Yeah.
of spread the word and kind of highlight motorsports in general.
Yeah.
Not just from the male side, but from also the female side. And so we really thank you for being here and kind of walking us through all of your journey and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you've been
Thank you for having
awesome.
me.
You've been great. You know, we're building a community here in New York City, so you know you got fans out here. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of
I love
F1
New York.
Academy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
there's a lot of F1 Academy fans out here, and you know they want to hear more of it, and they want to see more of this, and support women in motorsports. So, you know, we're trying to do our part.
Yeah.
As best as
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really
No, for sure, it's
excited.
good.
Thanks for your time, obviously. And when's your
Yeah,
next
thank you.
race? Where would I be able to watch that? Like,
I'm racing at Snetterton, I think the second weekend of July.
okay.
Yeah, I think second weekend. You can watch it on YouTube. The
Nice.
GB4.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, any last words for your fans out there before we wrap this up?
No, thank you for all the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yes,
Let's
awesome.
go.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
thanks so much. That was
Thank you.
awesome.